morning to all. Thank you to be here. I did this contribution in relation to the roundtable related to public space. That is a way in which we are trying to work for many years on the public spaces, but even on the home space, as you can see in the title. Because I think that the time in which we are is really different from the past, and so we have to try, like architect, to define spaces that are related to the time in which we are living. And so if we think about the contemporary architecture, what I think is the real architecture, we have to imagine built spaces that correspond to existing spaces and their inhabitants. And so we have to imagine the space, as we said yesterday, as a generator of well-being. And in this way, it's obviously that we have to refer to the concept of density, efficiency, and flexibility. Because we have to build a sort of framework that can link the spatial to the experiential aspect by using a principle of organization that can be for the work, but even for the living spaces. And in this way, we probably join or we begin so close to some intervention and ideas of Ray Oldenburg, that published the great book, The Great Good Place, in 1960, I think, in which he tried to imagine the third place. The first place is the living, the second place obviously is the work, and he imagined the third place that is related more to the leisure time or the free time of the people. And if we talk about the house spaces, we have to understand that in time the house is increasingly moving towards a place of physical and mental well-being that also incorporate work and productive activity. No? This happens immediately and directly in the COVID era, but even before there was this sort of path. No? And so the interior are therefore being transformed into spaces with variable uses, which with some adjustment or changing can become or can be reconfigured to the like even workspaces and even for the people day life. And so the versatility allows the use of the space as home or as an office, mixing the character of the respective uses. And in this way, we have to imagine that we have to change our idea of architecture, I think. These are two images that are really interesting for me because one is a photograph of a friend, Chris de Matte. Is the name space, is the name is a photography of Mauthausen, of all the name of the people that are dead in Mauthausen. And the other is La Piazza, the beautiful work of Giacometti. In all these two places, we find the problem that we are facing now. So how we can manage or we can connect together the virtual and physical spaces of the city or of our life. If we talk about workspace, we need to have variability and flexibility. As we say, that the COVID era gave us a great, in some way, even opportunity to work on in this way, because we have to imagine that even the workspace is a place in which you may have cultural spaces or other spaces more related to the living time of the people during the day. And the flexibility of the internal spaces hence outlines the possibility of configuring the offices as independent cluster with distribution and separation structures, coherent to the plan layout, or as a single building capable to diversify the internal offices. And so we may imagine that in each offices we may have a lot of typology, the network, the phone, the cellular, the platform, all these type of workspace. This is a project that is for me interesting because we realized in an old ancient building is awarded like the best intervention in heritage in Italy in 2018. And it's a project in which where the commitment asked us to imagine these spaces for an headquarter that has to become even a home. So we have to imagine that these spaces has to be an home and an office in the same time. Only by changing the furniture, only by changing the activity that we have to put inside these spaces. And it is for this reason that if the architecture wants to be the engine of man's evolution, has to turn its procedural and compositional gaze to the concept of time. This is really important because our contemporary virtual and technological world has made the time syncopated for me. An instantaneous shortened time which structure fragments and not sequences. If we imagine when we are, even while we are here, no, we are here like in a physical place, but in the same time we have the phone, and we may stay in this same moment connected with the phone with another place in the world or with another friend at home. And so this is one thing on which we have to think, to imagine, and even to compose the new spaces. And these things, this type of society that we have, that is more related to the only one man or only one woman, no? So everyone has a great dimension, virtual dimension for his freedom, that is related to the fact that you have in the end an object that can give you the possibility to connect in every moment. And so no one can control you, even if you are at the office, at work, or in another place. And this sort of free time that we have to structure it in some way, even in the architecture, because if we don't know, we are not able to define a space that is for the people. And this concept of free time has a lot to do with the spatial concept of third place, able to produce a network of physical, perceptual, and cultural creative relationship, capable to configuring multiple real and virtual places. This was an intervention that we did in Reggio Emilia. It's a Ivy lounge, restaurant and lounge bar, in which the idea was that all these seesaws needed to enter for the people and even to stay only freely. We will try to imagine a space in which you can experience the leisure time even if you are inside a restaurant or a bar. This is a competition in which we are finalists in 2018 for the Library of Laurenteschi in Milan, in which we try to imagine the library as a third place, so as a place in which you can make this link related to physical, perceptual, but even to cultural and creative relationship. Because this can give us the opportunity to put all together multiple real and virtual places. And this is really important even for the young, because the young people now seems to be so, how can I say, so adjusted in the sofa to have a look to their phone, and they don't want to do anything else. I have 2 children, and so I am a little worried about that. They are not so interested to go out, no? And so we have to find a way to create some places in which the people can go, even to exchange something by the phone, but even because there are other relations that we need to do and to imagine. This is another image of the office, and this is a project, an old project that we did in Modena. We won the honorable mention in the national competition for Piazza 20 Settembre in Modena. And this I show because the public space must be able to interpret multiple identities, virtual and real, in order to correspond to the largest numbers of users and to be conceived as real for all. And these 3 images, one over the other, can show you like the public space of the piazza can be a shopping, in the shopping time can be configured in a way, in the leisure time can be configured in another way, and for the music time can be configured with the stage and with the people that stay all together. This is an intervention that we realized in Reggio Emilia. It's a cultural center, European Photography Center, in which we try to put this concept, and we imagine to have a link, a connection between the old piazza that you may see here with the restaurant and all the table outside, and the back of the building that was related to a piazza that was closed, and with this link we reopen to the people, to the passage of the people. So to finish, we think that the house, in reality, can be a matrix for the public spaces in our era. It isn't possible to configure the city without rethinking the house, because only inside the house, conceived as the minimum living unit, the people could unfold their lifetime in physical connection with the others, family members, relatives, or friends. This is a work that we did in the university. I teach in Polytechnic of Milan. This is a thesis of a great and sensitive student, Q.U. Lee, that worked on the island of Poveglia, and they try to define some spaces for the student. These are residences for the student that are on the circular shape that you may see in the model. And even in this work, you may see an idea of a public space that can be extended even to the private space, and that can be different in many times and in many ways during the day. That's all.
Hello. Okay, thank you very much. Thank to everyone for coming to be in this event today. I present myself. I'm architect Alessia Maggio from Italy. We have a studio that is divided in between Roma and Lake of Garda, Desenzano, so in between two worlds, let's say. And we operate in many type of projects. Today we prepared a presentation. Can I have the... thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Today we prepared a presentation because we are speaking about public spaces, and I was thinking not to relate it directly to all our projects, but to do a small understanding in how much public space in reality influences the start of a project. So generally, the public space is always present. It's present inside the context of a project because it's the start of the way we need to think the contact in between man and architecture. And not only man and architecture, but even the space outside, that's the city, the environment. So we are looking at public space like architecture itself, because itself it is space, and this is something, a concept that I like to study, because I think that when architecture is, let's say, disappears in public space and public space is included in architecture, that is the moment that we have a unity in a way. So I wanted to talk about the fact that we are changing the habits. So much more we have to go outside, and much more the identity is of people outside. First of all, like the architect was saying, because of the COVID, the change of uses, but we really need to be in the open air, in nature, much more. So architecture has to relate to that more and more, probably even in the future. This is the idea essentially that I wanted to give this morning, that probably our space outside and inside has to be seen mostly of a link in between the way we use architecture and we feel architecture. This is an image from a project of Erzberger that the architect talked in 3 lesson books, very important, about the importance of public space, but a concept that is, I think, nice to relate to is the inclusion. public space is made by inclusion between men and the use of it. So sometimes our architect, we have to observe the use of a space to understand better our work. And here are some examples where I see this a lot. We are doing now an experimental project with a client in Lombardia where we are trying to recreate a small public space in the city of Desenzano, trying to understand the use of child and men together, how they could play in the public spaces. So we selected a little bit of examples where we see that maybe with small things, color, a bench, the position of a tree, everything can change. Sometimes we don't have to do too much, but doing less is a lot already, no? Okay, then we come to our projects. Public space was important for all of these projects we are presenting. The first project that I directed was Vigna Clara station in Roma. That is a very difficult station because it's been closed a couple of times in the 19s, and then it was reopened with this restyling project essentially. What did we do? We worked, our studio worked with the engineerings of the railway stations. We did not touch the existing. We tried to use the same structure, the same unity, but refreshing it with new material. The first thing, this project starts with an open space. This project starts in between what is called the public space. We have to consider that Roma is a very difficult city for space. She does not have a lot of space. So we had to work on the thresholds, on the limit of these architecture fields. So trying to bring public space directly inside the atrio of the station, so directly inside architecture, so that the people could gather in, let's say, a diaphragm space, very small, but they can gather then inside the atrio. The public space in itself is where the train uses. They're waiting for the train, so it becomes even part of this partially. Of course, here we are inside the function. The other project I present is another station we did that even here, public space and space in between the city is very small, and it's the station of Valle Aurelia. This project I wanted to show because it's very interesting, because this project gave birth then to the change of a part of a city. And they did a new public space in front of the railway station, creating a new mall with the center aura, with this connection between the station, the user, the metro, and the new centro commerciale. We wanted, because there was a less space, we wanted to include again public space inside the building itself. So trying to have moments where the people could gather and wait for the infrastructure or the function they had to do. Another point we wanted to bring out today is that the facade in itself, we wanted it to dialogue with the public space, to be a contact and a reference for the user. So, for example, the facade, the restyling of the facade is in direct contact with the user, and it should become the reference of high contact, where he sees directly where the station is, where the function is, and he can recognize easier where he has to enter. This is the third project where I like to say that the public space really was wanted inside by the citizens, because they needed an atrio that was open. So they did the request directly to RFE that tried to replicate this need of the city, to give a little public space inside the station itself. So this station is completely open. The atrio is like an unfold, open to the city and open to the function, so to show that there is no limit between man architecture and the space in between, but we have to believe always more and more that architecture can really even change the way of living and give a good signal of inclusive spaces, so that every moment of the function is essentially a moment to be together. This is a competition that we had the fortune to participate in for the Roma Termini. So I was thinking, what more than a public space is this competition, where the public space is huge. And it was a very difficult competition because it is a part very important for Roma itself. We participated with West 8 to this, so we had really the fortune to work with a big company and understand how the procedures of working with these structures are done. And for example, here, the phenomenon of being together and creating a second space in front of the station is even more important because the dimensions are very large. And then I close with this project that is essentially another competition that we won, where I think that the public space here, for example, is the park in itself that they asked in the competition to realize, to build and to think. And this competition was talking about a landmark in Salerno, that's in Italy, a place where there's a lot of let's say, important communications by the sea. So the threshold is not only the city, but even the link to the sea. That's an eye contact, very important for people. So this landmark had to generate new perspective for every point of view. So itself, the landscape is itself considered a public space where people could go and join in the park and become an observatory. And yes, we described a little bit better how we were thinking to bring people on top of Il Colle Bellaria, the site, and create a park where to be, to stay, and to have the chance to go on top of the tower and admire the beautiful landscape and surrounding. And this is the idea we had to do a museum on the base, and we proposed that not only people could stay in the museum on the ground of the park, in the park, but they can admire the city from all points of view. And this is the conclusion. So I prepared a little video. It's very quick, and I don't know if you can do. Okay. Thank you very much. If it goes. No. Okay.
Maybe. Matteo, chiedi tu? This one?
Okay, yes. That this shows a little bit what I was talking about. Thank you. There was another one, small, but I don't know if you can do. Don't worry.
But maybe because now you have time. Now I want to listen to Guffanti group.
Okay, thank you very much in any case.
Thank you to be here. I'm Manuela Guffanti, partner of Guffanti Group and Partners based in Milan. Yesterday we talked about technology in building. Today we speak about technology in public space. So if you admit me to go, we start to, sorry, I go on because I don't know why it starts from here, but okay, we leave the presentation here yesterday. So We speak yesterday about responsive architecture. Responsive architecture must be applied, in my opinion, also to public space, because we see how technology go inside building. But technology, we are habit to see a building that must be responsive to, for example, climate changing. So we study a lot to how the building must be answered to climate change. And public space, what happened? What happened in our public space? I'm a global traveler for leisure, so I like to go around the world, and because I am an architect, I have the eyes to catch the best information in the world. So, for example, public space in north of Europe, in Greenland, in Ireland, what happens? They included public spaces in buildings, so you can see a lot of street, a lot of commercial area included in the building. So, for example, you have the street inside building because you can't go out for the climate. You have temperature under 0 degrees. And here we are in Dubai. We come from Italy, a lot of people here. Now in Milan there are 30 degrees, so not quite different from here. But what happened here, for example, here we see that a lot of public space are included in commercial area, and some buildings live alone along the street. And what we can do? For example, we can think about climate change also in public space. How can we do it? We can do, for example, in make them useful for our humankind. So to maintain temperature is not easy, but if you see the temperature, if you're monitoring, in Milan I discovered that we have one of the most diffusion monitoring of climate. I don't think it's possible, but we have. So for example, if you measure the sun temperature when you have a street, it is about 70 degrees. Also if you have outside 40 degrees. The same street with plants, so bringing environment inside the public space, the temperature, if you have trees and you have earth down, it's about 40, if you have outside a temperature of 40. So you can follow down the temperature and control it. How you can control? You can control public space also with some structure that with artificial intelligence and so on, you can make sensor outside and, for example, open and cover some part of that. We make a project. Sorry, I don't have imaging here, but it's a street where we do market. When the municipality want to do an area for the market, you have a big tent that you can open when sun comes. And you can open when rain, and you can open when you want to control the temperature. And you can, for example, diffusion some water, some vapor to make a medium of climate. So solution we can have. Another thing why I speak about artificial intelligence also in public space, because we have to do an integrated design between new building but also old building. In Italy we are specialized in old building, of course, we have a lot, and so we have to make something to renovate it, but included in the new vision of the city and the new use of it. I appreciate a lot the speech of my colleague because they send me some new question to thinking about. For example, in some, it's real that people are in habits to go out now, especially from COVID. So maybe we have to think to public space more safer and with more security inside. I discovered also that, for example, Milan with Tel Aviv is one of the most controlled city by video camera, for example. And so the imaging of us, but after that we have a problem of privacy, of course. But but to make a city more safer, because another problem of public spaces is the security of that. Is the security to use public space always during the day, from child to old man. So, for example, we have in the city now a lot of points where you can help person that have a cardiac attack. You see, we have a lot, so in public space we diffuse it. And it is a new way to think about the problem that have people. Our person aged in the time, so we become older in the time. So we have to think a public space like a service. So first, climate change in public space. Second, security and safety. People become older and needs other way to use it. Another way, sorry I forgot it, to include, to govern, to manage the climate change is, for example, to use materials. After me speak another important colleague. Use materials, for example, like stone, like a ceramic, that change the pollution and CO2 in good air and good oxygen for the, so put out solar irradiation and become colder the temperature on the side. Third, and after that a conclusion, it's only just some input that I want to give, is to bring some public space inside other building. For example, this is the new foodie market. Is the biggest market. We make a project of layout and fire engineering, because it is not only the space where people can sell their fruit, vegetable, and so on. Is the biggest in Milan. But it will be open to the city during the weekend, for example, where normal people can market, can buy everything. This is an hospital. Air care will be, I think, a new trend on it, because will be less needs to bring medicine or doctor near the room. We are habits that doctors are exactly near the room of people that stay in hospital. Maybe they can do the same work to be in another building with telemedicine. So public space, reduce it. Sometimes increase and sometimes it's reduced. It depends. This is the development. This is the first theater in Europe. We have, for example, 3 parts for the exhibition. One is, sorry, I don't have the. One is inside the change. This is a frontal view. This is a circular view. And this is the third part to the city. So a public space that come in when you can have an exhibition in 3 parts of it. And this is the first for accessibility, about 600 place for disability. Sorry, here there is some example. For other kind of, for child, public spaces for child, to renovation building we have, and included public space. So become very important just because public space go into the building. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Architect Guffanti. And now I want to listen Angry Architects Creating Moments of Inspiration. Do you have a presentation or not?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
But actually today we have the other presentation theme. Yeah. It should be ready.
Matteo, dici di avere la presentazione. Ok. Bravissime, posso avere il coso per prendere.
Hello everyone, we are Angry Architects, studio based in Albania. We are mostly working with interior design, architecture, urban landscape. And so today we want to do a presentation with explaining some of our interior design project and also talking about biophilic design. We, as architects in our studio, we always loved the nature and we always wanted to incorporate the nature in our project. In this picture, we see interior design in Tirana, the capital city of Albania, called the Lakeview Residence. And you can see here that we have tried to do some implementation of the greenery inside of this apartment. What do we mean when we talk about biophilic design? Biophilic design is the connection that humans seek in the nature and the other materials world. In our studio, we always, and we love, and also the project that we deliver, we wanted to represent, to make the connection between architecture, interior design, and also the nature. This is another project from our studio. It's a villa, also located in the Tirana, called the Secret Garden Villa. About the historical context and the origins, we always seen that humans were always connected with nature. In the ancient world, they always respect the natural environment, the animals. And so we always see the results of that. These are some of the fundamental principles of biophilia, and also some of the ways that we can incorporate them in our project. One is the nature in the space, the natural analog, when we can find different materials that we can see in the nature and incorporate them in our interior design or architectural design. Also the connection between indoor and outdoor elements. This project that we see here are in different cities in Albania. The last one is in Saranda and in the capital city, Lakeview Residence. In this other project, we see a restaurant that is located in Termi, Albania. We wanted to make in this project not only the greenery, but also the natural element like stones. Like we have created this bar here, and the lights that are the imitation of the greenery. So we think that the greenery has always respond positively to our well-being and the profound ways that humans behave and think. This other project is also in Albania. This is the interior design, the toilets of one restaurant called Maya, located in Termi. And so we have here, we wanted to try the incorporation of the natural and artificial materials like are the plants and also the marble and the working of them. The relationship between nature and the mind. We have seen that the nature has a positive impact in our thinking, well-being, stress reduction, in our productivity. This other project is in another city in Albania, in Berat. This is called Tomore View Villa. The view of this villa is in Tomori mountain. It's a very beautiful mountain in Albania. And this is the final floor of the villa. It's a little high of this room. And so we decided to put a little, because we have a little window in this project, and so we decided to put a little greenery inside and to connect it with a view that is outside. And also this is another project in Tirana. It's in the same complex that is called Villa Secret Garden. It has many villas there. This is the kitchen design. In this kitchen, we wanted to do a separate between the kitchen and the entry, and so we created this with flowers and with a glass, and also to make a mirror design of the window that we can see the natural world outside. So this is another project in Ksamil, Albania. This is a hotel. You can see this is a little detail of toilets of the bar of the hotel. So this is just a detail that we always try to put elements of natural plants in our interiors. And this is our studio in Tirana, our office, the Angry Architects office. At the moment, we have the operatives office, which is by me, Ana Durma, and Sergio Chakai. We are the founder of the Angry Architects, and also the operative office of our staff. We always love to put greenery in our working place and in every working place that we design, because we truly believe that it improves very much the creativity and the productivity of the group. They feel more connected with the nature and they feel more free. This is the project we have done in Italy, in Valbruna Malborghetto. It's a very old villa called Villa 10. And so we decided to put a little greenery in here, but also to put it like antique one, like dry trees and little details with stones, natural elements that connect everything that is inside this villa with the outside view, which is the fantastic view of the Valbruna mountains. And this one is our latest project. It's also in the Lake Resident Villa. This is another apartment. We have tried to put a lot of elements of natural stone in this one and greenery. Thank you.